Hi, this is Scott Womble, and this is your 2-minute tip on biblical interpretation. You know, the Pharisees are mentioned about 90 times in the Gospel, so it's pretty important that we understand some historical background about them. They arose as a school sometime around 134 to 105 BC, and it's very possible that they're remnants of a group called the Hasidim. We know they were around just a few decades before that because some crazy lunatic named Antiochus IV slaughtered a bunch of Hasidim on the Sabbath because they would not defend themselves on that holy day. If the Pharisees arose from the Hasidim, it would sure explain why they get in such an uproar when Jesus does anything on the Sabbath. Philo said that the Pharisees were full of zeal for the law and the strictest guardians of the ancestral traditions. And Josephus claimed that they were the most accurate interpreters of the law. They were also the popular party who represented what we might call the middle class, and so they had heavy influence over the majority of the people. Jesus says, follow their teachings, but don't follow their practices. And in Matthew 23, Jesus comes down heavy on the Pharisees. He says they make the law burdensome for the people, and he calls them a bunch of hypocrites who conveniently find loopholes when they need to. And in Luke 11, Jesus says the Pharisees are corrupt, they're prideful, and they don't understand the spirit of the law. Well, here's the big takeaway. The Pharisees knew what the Word of God said, but they often missed the big point, and they failed to understand the depth of what God was actually teaching. And worse than that, they really failed to understand the very God who gave them the instructions. Their hearts weren't soft towards God, and they didn't allow God to speak to them in any kind of personal way. Their actions say that they believe legalism was the way to God's heart. They were wrong. So don't make the same mistake the Pharisees made. Well, I hope this 2-minute tip has been a blessing to you today, and remember, go shine the light for Jesus and make a difference in this world. God bless.